Picture this. You're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and anger bubbles up inside you. Now imagine having a mental toolkit that could transform that moment of chaos into one of calm clarity. That's exactly what Stoicism offers us, and today we're diving deep into 10 powerful lessons from this ancient philosophy that can help you master the art of keeping calm, no matter what life throws your way. Stoicism isn't just some dusty old philosophy from ancient Greece and Rome. It's a practical guide for living that's perhaps more relevant today than ever before. The Stoics understood something fundamental about human nature. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. So let's explore these 10 transformative lessons that can change how you respond to life's challenges. The first lesson is about understanding what you can and cannot control. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote that we have power over our minds, not outside events. Think about how much energy we waste worrying about things completely beyond our control. The weather, other people's opinions, past events, future uncertainties. The Stoics teach us to draw a clear line between what's in our power and what isn't. Your thoughts, your actions, your responses, these are yours to control. Everything else, let it go. When you truly internalize this distinction, something magical happens. That traffic jam stops being a personal attack and becomes simply a fact of existence. You can't control the traffic, but you can control whether you spend those minutes in rage or use them to listen to a podcast, practice breathing exercises, or simply observe the world around you with curiosity. The second lesson teaches us that our perceptions shape our reality. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the greatest Stoic teachers, famously said that we are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of them. Two people can experience the exact same event and have completely different emotional responses. Why? Because between the event and the emotion lies interpretation. Someone cuts you off in traffic. One interpretation, they're a terrible person who disrespected you. Another interpretation, they might be rushing to the hospital, or they simply didn't see you. The event is neutral. Your interpretation creates your emotional experience. When you realize this, you gain incredible power. You can question your automatic interpretations. You can choose perspectives that serve you better. That criticism from your boss, it's not an attack on your worth as a person. It's information you can use to improve. That rejection, it's not the universe telling you you're not good enough. It's simply one outcome among many possibilities. Lesson 3 is about embracing impermanence and accepting change. The Stoics were deeply aware that everything is temporary: relationships, possessions, even our own lives. This might sound depressing, but it's actually liberating. When you accept that nothing lasts forever, you stop clinging so tightly. You appreciate what you have while you have it. You prepare mentally for loss, not in a pessimistic way, but in a way that builds resilience. Marcus Aurelius practiced a technique called negative visualization. He would imagine losing the things and people he valued most. Not to be morbid, but to cultivate gratitude and prepare his mind for reality. When you know that everything is temporary, each moment becomes more precious. That argument with your partner matters less because you remember that your time together is limited. That material possession you're obsessing over loses its power when you recognize it will eventually break or lose its appeal. The fourth lesson is about focusing on the present moment. The Stoics understood what modern psychology confirms. Most of our suffering comes from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Seneca wrote that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Right now, in this present moment, are you actually in danger? Are you actually suffering? Most often, the answer is no. The suffering is mental, created by replaying past hurts or rehearsing future disasters. The Stoic practice is simple but profound. Bring yourself back to now. What needs to be done in this moment? What can you appreciate right now? When you're washing dishes, wash dishes. When you're with your child, be with your child. When you're working, work. This isn't about positive thinking or denying problems. It's about recognizing that the present moment is the only place where you can actually take action. Lesson 5 teaches us to view obstacles as opportunities. This is perhaps one of the most powerful Stoic insights. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the impediment to action advances action, and what stands in the way becomes the way. Every obstacle contains within it the seed of growth. Didn't get that job? Maybe you'll find something better suited to your skills. Relationship ended? Perhaps it's clearing space for personal growth or a more compatible partner. Business failed?
Now you have invaluable lessons that can inform your next venture. The Stoics didn't just tolerate difficulties, they saw them as necessary for developing virtue and character. A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. Your challenges aren't interruptions to your path, they are the path. When you adopt this mindset, obstacles lose their power to discourage you. Instead, you start asking, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? What opportunity is hidden in this challenge?
The 6th lesson is about practicing voluntary discomfort. The Stoics regularly engaged in practices that made them temporarily uncomfortable. Seneca would take cold baths and sleep on hard beds. Marcus Aurelius would give up luxuries periodically. Why? To train themselves not to be dependent on comfort, to prove to themselves that they could handle discomfort, to build resilience. In our modern world of endless comfort and convenience, this lesson is more important than ever. We've become so addicted to comfort that the slightest discomfort sends us into panic. Can't check your phone for an hour? Anxiety. Temperature slightly too warm or cold? Misery. When you voluntarily practice discomfort, whether through cold showers, fasting, minimalism, or challenging physical exercise, you're building mental toughness. You're proving to yourself that discomfort won't destroy you. And when real hardship comes, you're prepared. Lesson 7 is about remembering your mortality. The Stoics practiced memento mori, remembering death. This isn't morbid, it's clarity. When you remember that your time is limited, trivial concerns fall away. That grudge you're holding, life's too short. That dream you're postponing, there may not be a tomorrow. That person you love but haven't told, time is running out for all of us. Remembering death is the ultimate tool for prioritization. It cuts through the noise and helps you focus on what truly matters. It also removes fear. When you've accepted the ultimate fate that awaits all of us, smaller fears diminish. What's the worst that can happen if you pursue your dream? You might fail, but you're gonna die anyway, so you might as well try. The 8th lesson teaches us to practice gratitude for what we have. The Stoics believed that wanting what you already have is the foundation of contentment. We live in a culture of perpetual dissatisfaction, always reaching for the next thing, believing happiness lies just beyond our current circumstances. But the Stoics knew better. They practiced reflecting on their blessings, not in a superficial way, but deeply. They would imagine losing what they had, then appreciate that they still had it. Do you have your health, your sight, your ability to walk? These seem ordinary until you imagine losing them. Do you have people who care about you, a roof over your head, food to eat?
By historical standards, even someone of modest means in the modern world lives better than ancient kings. But we rarely feel that way because we're constantly comparing ourselves to those who have more.
The Stoic practice is to regularly inventory your blessings and feel genuine gratitude for them. This isn't toxic positivity that ignores real problems. It's balanced perspective that acknowledges both what's difficult and what's good.
Lesson 9 is about taking responsibility for your responses. Viktor Frankl, though not a Stoic himself, expressed this Stoic principle perfectly. Between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space is our power to choose our response. The Stoics were adamant that while we can't always control what happens to us, we always control how we respond. This is radical responsibility. It means you can't blame your anger on someone else's actions. They did what they did, but your anger is your choice. You can't blame your anxiety on circumstances. The circumstances are what they are, but your anxiety is your response. This might seem harsh, but it's actually empowering. If your emotional state depends entirely on external circumstances, you're a victim, powerless and tossed about by fate. But if your emotional state depends on your interpretations and responses, you have power. You can work on yourself. You can change. The 10th and final lesson is about living according to virtue. For the Stoics, the highest good wasn't pleasure, wealth, or success. It was virtue, living according to wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. When you align your life with virtue, you develop an internal compass that keeps you calm regardless of external chaos. Why? Because your sense of self-worth isn't tied to outcomes you can't control. You're not calm because everything's going well. You're calm because you're doing what's right, and that's within your control. This doesn't mean being perfect. It means consistently striving to be better, to act with integrity even when it's difficult, to speak truth even when lying would be easier, to help others even when it costs you something. When you live this way, you develop what the Stoics called an inner citadel, a fortress of the mind that external events cannot breach. So there you have it, 10 profound lessons from Stoicism that can help you maintain calm in a chaotic world. These aren't just nice ideas to contemplate, they're practices to implement. Start small. Pick one lesson that resonates most with you. Maybe it's the distinction between what you can and cannot control. Spend a week really noticing when you're worrying about things outside your control and practice letting them go. Or maybe it's reframing obstacles. The next time something goes wrong, pause before reacting and ask yourself, how might this difficulty actually benefit me? What can I learn here? The beauty of Stoicism is that it's not about denying emotions or becoming cold and unfeeling. It's about developing emotional resilience and wisdom. It's about responding to life from a place of strength rather than reacting from a place of weakness. And perhaps most importantly, it's about finding peace, not by changing your external circumstances, which is often impossible, but by changing your internal landscape, which is always possible. The ancient Stoics faced wars, plagues, political turmoil, and personal tragedies, yet they developed and maintained inner peace. If they could do it in their world, we can certainly do it in ours. The tools are here. The wisdom is timeless. All that's left is for you to pick up these practices and make them your own. Your calmer, more resilient life is waiting.